Salute, MobTube. How is everybody today? Let's see who's in the chat, or chat, as SoFlo would like to call it. Miss Can't Be Wrong, Beck Brooklyn, Brian Bozak, Davis Dean, Jane Creek. And I believe that's it. 6 people as of right now. Well, hopefully that gets better. We'll see. Oh, we're up to 8. I'll take it. That's what Tony Pizza would say. You know what we'll do as usual? We'll wait, get some more people in here, and I'll start talking. We'll talk some addiction and recovery stuff today. Hopefully, we'll have a good, productive show. And then that's it. Hopefully, I'll be back on tonight, but I don't know if I will. We'll see. Jersey Girl 732, how are you? Good to see you. Jesse Roth, Trevor Smith. Good to see you guys. We have to build the addiction and recovery audience, you know? So, guys, if you know people who are struggling now or have struggled in the past with addiction and recovery, please let them know about these shows. I'd like to build up a whole second audience, I guess you could say, just for these shows. I have thought about just making it a channel, you know what I mean? A separate channel, but I don't know if I want to do that. I have enough to deal with one channel, you know what I mean? The last thing I need. We're up to 32 people. 2 minutes in. Let's see what happens. Is Miss Can't Be Wrong sick? Oh, that's all right, Miss Can't Be Wrong. I hope you feel better. A lot of people are sick right now. A lot of people. It's a shame. We want Miss Can't Be Wrong to be healthy. Hi, Jesse. So what are we up to? 34 people? All right, you know what I think I'm going to do today? Oh, man, redheaded stepchild. See? I'm sorry to hear that. Got the vid. Terrible. Well, feel better, my friend, and relax. Don't worry about this stuff right now. Just take it easy, you know? Yeah, Trevor Smith, I do. Jesse Roth, you ain't kidding. It is. So I am going to talk about crime today as it pertains to addiction. Specifically, one of my crimes. I'm going to tell you guys a story I never told you before. I have mentioned the specific crime, but I never told you the actual story. The Squeege, Canadian $10. Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, obviously, this story I'm telling could be complete bullshit. I could just be making it up, you know, or it could be true. You decide. But I'm not telling this story as if it definitely happened. This is for entertainment purposes only. Actually, it's not. It's for addiction and recovery purposes only. But the story's told, you know, for entertainment. Brian Miller, I think he had to take it down because he accidentally put a picture of kids up. You know what I mean? So I think he decided to put it on private. Mob Entertainment Group said, guys, make sure you stay hydrated, take vitamins, extra vitamin D, zinc, and try to get some sun. Yeah, very, very important, all of those things. And trust me, I struggle with the hydration thing regularly. I'm always dehydrated, no matter how much water I drink. But that's because of my medicine, and it is what it is. Exactly, Jesse Roth. That's how I should have said it. It's an alleged story, you know? What are we at? 38? Mod on. It's not moving quickly, but that's all right. I'm going to get started, okay? Oh, 41. Ooh, I'll take it. So, a long time ago, and this is just story time. That's all it is. A long time ago, I was sitting with a girlfriend, Okay. I had been drinking because at the time I was a full blown alcoholic. This was a long, long time ago. Like, I'm going to say 25 years ago, maybe 23, 24. Um, I was sitting with my girlfriend. We were talking. We were at my house, and I was pretty fucked up, you know? And she started telling me this story. Now, let me backtrack a little bit. My best friend at one point had his system stolen out of his car. Okay, a very expensive, like $6,000 stereo system. You know what I mean? The woofers, the tweeters, the whole nine, the Pioneer 5x9s, I forget the kind of amp and stuff he had, but it was a crazy, like 2,000 watt amp, a sick Pioneer deck, all that stuff, right? Very expensive stuff. And he had gotten his car robbed right in front of his house. And he lived in the suburbs. He lived in the suburbs in a very, actually, well-to-do neighborhood with his parents. And this system got stolen. And, the guy was heartbroken. You know what I'm saying? I think at the time insurance refused to cover it. He had saved his money for this thing. It was very important to him. So later on, I'm going to say maybe, let's just say a year later, I'm sitting with my girlfriend. I'm back to where I started now. And we're talking, and she starts telling me this story about how another friend of ours is now with a guy. Okay. And I won't say the guy's name, but this guy apparently is the one that stole my best friend's stereo system. Okay. I couldn't believe it. I was like, really? She's with him. And this is the guy that did it. And she assured me, yes, I'm absolutely positive he's the one that stole your best friend's system out of his car and broke the windows and fucked the whole car up. Because he had to tear the car apart to get all the shit out of it. It was bolted down, you know what I mean? It was very secure. Well, not secure enough, apparently. So I said, okay, well, where are they living right now? And she told me, and I said, do me a favor. Take me to the gas station. Okay. So we went to the gas station. Now, mind you, this pertains to addiction and recovery because I was fucked up. And I don't know if I would have committed this crime, allegedly committed this crime sober. I don't know. I think there's a good chance of it, but we'll never find out, will we? So anyway, in my drunken stupor, I had her take me to a gas station. At that gas station, I grabbed a 5-gallon jug and I filled it with gasoline. Okay, we then went to this girl and her boyfriend's house, drove around a little bit to make sure no one was around, went into the alley. The car happened to be parked, they had off-street parking behind the house, right off the alley. So I had her parked down the street. I ran over to the car. I doused it with gasoline and I threw a match. Now, the result, obviously, was the car was burnt to a crisp. But I can't go into any more, even though there's actually a funny part of this alleged story. You know what I mean? Later on down the road that I found out that actually gave me great joy. Great joy. I was so happy. You know what I'm saying? But, I can't tell that part because if I get too detailed, it's easily identifiable. So anyway, that's something I did. That's just one of the many, 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 many crimes I committed when I was severely under the influence of alcohol. And at the time, it wasn't even cocaine. It was just alcohol. You know what I mean? I was drinking like a madman. And that may have taken place one night, that story I just told. So I thought I'd fill you in on that. And I got to say that it's not the only thing that may have taken place in my life due to being under the influence of alcohol. Now, again, I'm not using it as an excuse. I was a madman. I probably would have, if this was a real story, committed that crime even if I was perfectly clean and sober, because I was a nutcase. But like I said, we'll never know. All I know is that some of the craziest shit I've ever done was under the influence of alcohol. Because everything's a good idea when you're drinking. You notice that? When you're drinking, everything's a good idea. Do some coke. Yeah, why not? You know what I mean? Drop this acid. Okay. Get in a car and drive. Psh, no problem. It's all a good idea when you're drinking, even though they're all terrible ideas. Terrible. Terrible. Yeah, stories to roast marshmallows by. Exactly, Jesse Raw. Exactly. Um, And I could tell you many, many more, but I have to think them over and be careful. You know what I'm saying? Even though this is stuff, that if they did happen, these crimes I talk about, the statute of limitations is so far beyond, over. Wouldn't matter anyway. But that's not the only thing. There was many other situations, shootings and things like that, that I may have committed when I was, at least under the influence. I won't say wasted or anything like that, because by that point, it's hard to get wasted. You know what I'm saying? When you're drinking that fucking much, it's hard to get wasted. As a matter of fact, that's one thing that they tell you about how you know your liver is going bad. You're starting to have liver problems. If you either get drunk instantly or you can't get drunk no matter how much you drink. It's a very bad sign. But it is true, guys. That's the thing about alcohol. That's why alcohol is the most dangerous drug in the world, in my opinion. Simply because of the way it lowers your inhibitions and it makes everything seem like a good idea. This is why there's probably been millions of babies that were conceived by accident. You know what I mean? One night stands, things like that. Plenty of STDs that were passed along and contracted by individuals who weren't in the right state of mind when they decided to sleep with a complete and total stranger because they were drunk, and everything's a good idea when you're drunk. Not to mention all the other stuff that takes place because of alcohol, the fights, the violence, domestic as well. I mean, not just I'm not just talking about fights between men and things like that. No. Domestic violence as well. The car accidents from drunk driving, which, it's astronomical how many of those take place on an everyday basis. And many, many other things. People talk about marijuana being a gateway drug. Let me tell you something. In my case, marijuana turned me off so fucking much. It was certainly no gateway drug. The last thing it made me want to do was try other drugs. But alcohol? Oh, yeah. Oh, for a number of reasons. Number one, as I've said 50 times already during this stream, everything's a good idea when you're drinking. So if somebody puts some cocaine in front of you, it's like, awesome, let's do it. And I'm sure that's happened to people with meth and heroin and everything else, where they've said, fuck it. Throw caution to the wind. They're wasted. You're not thinking about tomorrow. You're not thinking about the future. You're just thinking about what you could do now to feel even better than you already feel. Or another thing about drinking that makes you, I think, susceptible to trying other drugs is once you get white girl wasted, you know what I mean? When you're fucked up and you can't even close your eyes, like you lay in bed and close your eyes and the whole fucking room is spinning and you're sick, you're throwing up, whatever. People will do anything to make that go away. You know what I'm saying? So if you tell somebody, hey, just take a bump of this, you'll be all better. Well, then they take a bump and it's like they never even drank. They're all leveled out now. They feel great. So then what does their brain start telling them from then on out? Well, every time you drink, if you want to avoid getting wasted, just do some of this. Or even better, you can drink unlimited amounts of alcohol. And every time you get to that point where you're just a little too fucked up, you do a line and you're brand new again and you can keep drinking. And that's what starts the cycle of staying up for days on end. See, nobody could drink and stay up for days. Nobody can do coke and at least in my opinion, and stay up for days if it's coke all by itself, because you'll be geeking out, you'll be fucking miserable. You might do it, but trust me when I tell you, you'll start to experience something called cocaine psychosis, which is one of the most terrifying fucking things I've ever experienced. I believe it was it Bill Cosby who had a son who killed himself, and they said that he was probably going through cocaine psychosis at the time. If it wasn't him, it was one of those celebrities. But I know one of them had a son who was, doing large amounts of cocaine and wound up taking his own life, and they attributed it to this possible cocaine psychosis. Because when you stay up for days at a time and all you're doing is cocaine, you will go insane. You will eventually. And I did. I was in my mother's house surrounded by guns because I had more guns when I was a teenager than any other time in my life. I had everything. I was the white boy that sold the guns to the black kids in the hood. No bullshit, whether you want to believe me or not. I had fucking 9mm. I had 45s. I had 38 snub-nose revolvers. I had 12-gauge Mossberg pumps with pistol grips. I had little fucking 22s. I had 25s. I had every fucking thing. You know what I mean? I had an SKS Porter with a banana clip at one point. All right, I had all types of fucking guns. Oh, then maybe it wasn't Bill Cosby. Yeah, I forget exactly who it was. So anyway, one night, what had happened was I went to a friend of mine's house, Dave. Okay. We went to his house, me and my girlfriend and some other people. His parents were away. He had a big, beautiful house in the suburbs. And we started getting fucked up. And we had some fire. Oh, unbelievable coke. You know what I mean? That yellow shit. Just so we're doing this fucking coke all night. And then the morning comes and we're still doing it. And then the next night comes and we're still doing it. And that night, my girlfriend left, so I decided to go home. But before I left, I made sure I had a good bit of coke so I could continue. Well, I got home and I kept doing coke. I wasn't drinking or anything. And a couple of hours later, I fucking started seeing things. And I don't mean, shadow people and shapes and no. I'm talking about, I looked out my window and it was like Scarface. I saw cars full of people pulling up and just an army run in and take over my house. So I'm in the corner of my fucking bedroom with all my guns surrounding me, bullets every fucking where, thinking I'm going to take on a goddamn army. Okay? And I was terrified, out of my fucking mind. And I called some friends. And I said, guys, you got to come over. I need help. There's people everywhere. They're all over my fucking house. I don't know if they're trying to rob me or what. So, oh yeah, Jason Mikesell. Absolutely it is. So all my friends, not all of them, but I mean, there was probably about 3 cars full of guys that pulled up and they ran into my fucking house and they had guns too and shit. They're searching the house. They come up and knock on my bedroom door. Now I'm terrified because I totally forgot that I even called them. So I think it's these guys that took over my house. So I'm sitting there with the 12 gauge pointed at the door. And luckily, I figured out that it was my friends, okay? And they explained to me that they had searched the entire fucking house and nobody's in there. So, and that's not the only time that happened, by the way. Something similar happened another time. So I was like, Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Like they explained to me what they thought was going on. It wasn't helping. But luckily, I was able to drink myself to sleep after that. That was their advice, and it worked. And I think I slept for about a day. But I never forgot that. So anyway, my point being is, rarely are you going to catch somebody just doing coke and staying up for days at a time. If they can do it, then I don't know what to say. They're Iron Man to me or something, because I always needed alcohol. And in the rare occasions I didn't have alcohol, I needed Xanax or Ativan or massive amounts of Valium or Klonopin, something to calm me down and level me out so I could continue to get high. And that's what happens. See, when you drink, If you're doing coke, you could drink forever. And if you're doing coke and you drink, you can do coke forever. You know what I mean? For days at a time. It's a fucking nightmare. And it's a vicious cycle. You know what I'm saying? But then you start to develop another problem. And that problem is what I call the cereal and milk theory. Okay. Which means that you get to a point where you're like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Now, from now on, if I go out to the bar, I'm going to have a few drinks, maybe a bump or two, or maybe not even that. I'm not doing coke anymore. I'm just going to drink a little bit, and I'll be fine. Or listen, next time I do coke, I'll have a few bumps, maybe a line or two, but I'm not drinking with it. No, sir. That's not going to work out for you because it becomes like cereal and milk. You need one to go right along with the other. So if you start drinking, hold on, guys. All right, that was my man Cam. Sorry. So I forget exactly where I was at, but um, it becomes like cereal and milk, like peanut butter and jelly. And once you start drinking, especially now that you know that the Coke is the antidote to alcohol when you get too fucking drunk, you want to do Coke with it. And vice versa. If you decide you're just going to do some Coke, nah, because you'll do some and then some more and then some more. And now you need to be leveled out too. So you start drinking. And then you wind up in that fucking cycle. You know what I mean? It's a goddamn disaster. I'm telling you guys, I was talking to somebody, it might have even been Howie, I'm not sure, the other day on the phone. And I said, bro, the honest truth is everything I say on the addiction and recovery shows is 100% true. I don't crave this shit anymore, ever. Simply because I've been through hell with it. Hell, it represents a nightmare to me. It represents a living fucking hell. Now, I told you I've had my moments, like when I was in at the Hard Rock in fucking Fort Lauderdale, and we were out at the pool, and there was cocktail waitresses with big trays full of pitchers of mixed drinks, stuff like that. You're in the sun, everybody's partying. You think to yourself, "Wow, it would be nice to just grab one of those pitchers and just pour it down my fucking throat." Things like that. And during COVID, I think I told you guys there was a point one night where I was sitting in this room actually watching TV. Nobody else was home. I was bored out of my fucking mind. And I actually considered going to get some Coke and get high. And luckily I didn't do it. But this is a lot of the reason why my sobriety is kind of easy for me. And another reason why I have guilt about that, because I know it's so much different for other people who have to really struggle with the urges and temptations and shit every day. I think back to times like that with the cocaine psychosis. I think back to being coked up out of my mind from the night before. I'm still doing Coke 2:00 in the afternoon. I started the night before, and now I have some sort of family obligation that I can't miss. And I have to drink just enough and do just enough Coke so that I can function long enough to make it to this family occasion, where I'm almost destined to be full of anxiety and nervousness and fidgeting and shaky and uncomfortable as could be because I'm trapped under the influence of these two drugs. It's a fucking nightmare. It's a nightmare. I hate it. And I'm grateful for the fact that I hate it. Because it makes me never want to do it again. All right, let me go to the chat. Blow changed my entire brain chemistry. I always regret it after going on a bender. Crazy. Oh, yeah, bro. And yeah, I think it does that to all of us, Jason. It definitely changed mine. That's why when I tell people that my brain is still what's the word I'm looking for? Repairing itself. And it'll never fully repair itself. My doctor told me I did brain damage that's permanent. Like, for instance, my memory, that's never coming back the way it once was. But I am growing up. The longer I stay clean and sober, the more I grow up, the more I start to see things as a responsible man, a responsible adult, rather than some knucklehead from the streets. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it definitely changes our brain chemistry, bro. The good part is, I think you can get a lot of that back. Not all of it, but you can begin to heal your brain as well as your body, as long as you haven't taken it too far. Cocaine raised my bar tab into the hundreds. I could drink like a champion. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. While I was drunk on my birthday, I peed on a cop. Holy shit, that sounds like a Stax fucking situation. I never met anyone who could come down gracefully off coke without extreme geekage. No, me neither. And I certainly couldn't, you know? Because like I said, I believe I always had a heart issue, always. So my heart would just be out of fucking control, you know? And then you're geeking, so your body is too, you know? You're fucking shaking and nervous and paranoid, and it's a fucking nightmare. Until you are snorting water to clear out your sinuses. Bro, yeah. And you know what my problem was? I didn't do that enough. And now I got it. It even changed the shape of my nose. My nose is all fucked up now. It used to be perfect. But I have a giant fucking hole right through there. You know? I had a friend who did coke every night, but every fucking night he cleaned his nose and shit out. And he's fine. But not me. You know what I mean? I did it a lot. But there was many a nights where I did a massive amount of cocaine, just drank myself to sleep, and that shit just sits in there. I read a story once about some Mexican drug cartel guy. The guy was loaded. He had like $1 billion in his basement in cash, and I'm not lying. His cash was like, I'm sorry, his basement was like something like 60, 70 feet long. Okay, he had a fucking palace. His cash was 6 feet high, all $100 bills, and it stretched the entire length of the basement when they raided him. Anyway, they took this guy in, and after time, his face started to cave in, and they did X-rays and shit, and it turned out that the coke he was doing was so goddamn pure, and he had been doing it for so long that he hadn't just eaten his nose away; it had eaten everything in his face away, because your sinuses travel. You know what I mean? So all his cheekbones, every fucking thing, his face was caving in. It could get that bad. Jason, the reason I would go on benders is because once I did a certain amount and you start geeking, you're going to suffer for hours coming down and get suicidal. I figured might as well go all out. Yeah. Yes, you definitely get suicidal. Yeah. It's a fucking nightmare. Especially if you're addicted to alcohol and you run out of both, or even just alcohol. Okay, now you're geeking and you're also going through alcohol withdrawal at the same fucking time. I've been there too. It honestly gives me nightmares. Even thinking about it terrifies me. I can't believe that I survived some of the things I did. I truly can't believe it. I mean, I can't believe that I even had the will to live during some of these, real serious times with, heavy addiction. When I was really at my worst. I can't even imagine how I had the will to live. But then again, at times I didn't. I told you guys, I took 36 or 34, 36 milligrams of Ativan, some shit like that one night. Hoping that it would kill me, and I had been drinking and everything else. I fucking, I used to go to sleep at night hoping and wishing that I would die in my sleep. And I couldn't make it happen. Then my body says no more and I shut down. Yeah, well, that's the problem, because eventually you're shut down for good. I needed one or the other. Really? Not both at the same time? Oh, yeah, there you go. But mostly both went hand in hand. Yeah. Can't have one without the other. I agree. Was clean for a year, then went on a bender last Saturday. Ah, shit. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. But you know what? Relapse is a part of recovery. It happens. Don't beat yourself up. Do not beat yourself up. It'll only make it worse. Learn from it and move on and continue to try to stay strong and, you know, stay dedicated to your recovery process. Alcohol and heroin and I'm sorry, alcohol and cocaine and heroin and weed were my drugs of choice. Holy shit. That's tough. The heroin, I don't even know. Like I couldn't imagine what that's like when you got that addiction too. I could drink without coke, but never the opposite. I lucked out with the coke because heroin had my heart. I guess you could say you lucked out. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I needed both. I needed both. Ever tried to smoke pot to come down off coke? It's horrible. Extreme geekage. Yes. And let me tell you something. I'll never forget this. I had a full blown panic attack. And if you've ever had a real panic attack, the one that basically mimics a heart attack, it's the scariest thing you could ever go through. It felt like somebody had a hold of my heart and they were just yanking it out of my fucking chest. It was so fucking painful. That was another reason I hate weed. I fucking hate it. I had 7 drug overdoses and 4 alcohol poisonings in 22 years of active addiction. Well, then you're obviously some sort of proof that miracles happen, Brian Miller, because that's unbelievable. That's crazy. I know people who've had, I don't know about that many, but many overdoses and things like that. But the 22 alcohol poisonings, oh, I'm sorry, 4 alcohol poisonings in 22 years, 7 drug overdoses, that's crazy. Yeah, I would say you're here for a reason. That would be my opinion. Jason, I need to get to that same point in my life. Consciously, I tell myself it's hell no more. Remember all the bad times, but I get a bit of henny in me, and immediately I get that itch. Yeah, well, that's the problem, bro. Anybody who fools themselves into believing, and I'm not saying you have, but a lot of people bargain. You know, they talk about bargaining with addiction. A lot of people fool themselves into believing, oh, I could just do one, I don't need the other, or oh, I could just do coke, I don't need to drink with it, or I could just drink, I don't need to do coke with it. And then it's like Jason just said. So honestly, man, as far as I'm concerned, the only solution is not to do anything. That's why I told you I won't even smoke weed. I won't take CBD oil, nothing. I don't do any of that shit. Nope. Because I know that without any substances in my body, I'm okay. But I don't know what'll happen if I put any substances in my body, no matter what they may be. You know what I mean? I don't know what'll happen. So I don't gamble with it. I could never understand that either. I always needed alcohol with the blow. I think it's just, listen, it levels you out. Levels you out. You know what I mean? The coke makes it makes you nervous. It makes you anxious. Um, it makes you fidgety and shaky and every fucking thing else and paranoid. And alcohol does the exact opposite. Alcohol relaxes you. It takes all that away. You know what I'm saying? It takes the shakiness away. It takes the heart. It slows your heart down. So if your heart's out of control from the coke, it fixes that. And you can maintain doing two, but only for so long. Doing both, I should say, but only for so long. I can control myself now because I don't go to bars or parties. I was never able to drink at home no matter what. I had to be out. Well, that's a good thing because not me. I actually preferred to be at home and I preferred to be alone. And that just makes it way worse. Tony Cross, hey, Christopher, I so hope you, Shanna, and your family are doing well. Life has gotten in the way the past month that I haven't had a minute to watch it. Merry Christmas, brother. Be well. It's all good. I was thinking about you the other day. I said I haven't been called Christopher in a while. I hope Tony's okay. So I'm. I hope everything is okay with you and your family. And it's just the busyness of life that has you distracted. But I understand completely if you can't watch, bro. Waking up in jail sucks. Well, I can honestly say, well, maybe once, but it was a holding cell in central booking. I don't know if I ever woke up in jail. I don't think I have from being under the influence. Most of the times I got arrested. Well, no, I can't say that. On my no, can't say that. All right. Well, I didn't wake up in jail, but I went to jail fucked up. I will say that. Jason Mike Cell, those benders really ruin your life. Start at 1 a.m. on Saturday, stop like the next day on Sunday at 10 p.m., sleep like shit, sweat it all out, miss work on Monday. Yes, sir. I would be hard for me to any street drug right now with all the fentanyl out there. Oh, it would be hard for me to take any street. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Well, now you got to be out of your fucking mind. That's another reason. I can't say I'm grateful. Fentanyl is killing all types of people, but I'll tell you what, it's doing me a favor in a way, because if I ever do consider doing cocaine, I think I'd be too scared to. What a sucker I would feel like. Not like there's an afterlife. I don't believe in any of that. But like, holy shit, I just died relapsing on cocaine, and I just did a bump or something. I'm fucking dead now. Great, good job, Chris. After all that clean time, now you're better off not touching any street drug. Not even a fucking. Listen, I told my daughter recently, if you're anywhere at a party, at someone's house, on a date, whatever it may be, even if you got a headache and somebody offers you Tylenol, don't take it. Okay? Unless you bought it from the store and it was sealed and all that shit. Don't take anything from anyone, because you never know. It's terrifying. Look at my stepson. My stepson, his friend, they thought they were getting Xanax and shit. It's fucking fentanyl. And my stepson's best friend died right next to him. Died in his sleep. You know what I mean? It's scary. But I'll tell you what, it scared straight my stepson, I guess you could say, because he doesn't do anything any fucking more. Nothing. I don't want drugs and alcohol anymore. They are poison to me. Well, that's how you got to think about it, because it truly is. I mean, the one thing I've heard, like I said, I never did the AA thing. I never got into any 12-step programs, but I had plenty of drug and alcohol counseling in my life. And one thing they say that's true is you have to look at these drugs as poison to you as an addict. You have to look at them as almost like you have an allergy. Like, yeah, okay, this guy next to me, he could take 4 or 5 drinks and then go home and relax, spend time with his family, sleep well that night, get up and go to work in the morning. But I can't. Alcohol affects me differently. If I have one drink, I will not stop until I pass out, and actually sleep it off. I will not stop. I can't. I've tried it. I've tried it in the past when I had periods of sobriety, and I thought, oh, I could just have a drink. Oh man, now what I was able to do was I was able to drink here and there. Like, it's not like I got drunk and then boom, I was drinking every day. No, for 3 years, I believe it was. I hadn't done any cocaine, and I would just drink like every other weekend. Me and my girlfriend would go out, no problem. But it was a problem for the night, because the minute I had the first drink, I needed another and another and another. My body was not going, and my mind was not going to allow me to stop. I needed to drink myself to sleep. It was the only way. So, I know that for the future. Amazing what your body can heal from. Oh, without a doubt, bro. 1 hour high off coke, you suffer for 6 hours coming down. Yes, sir. I still have short-term memory loss due to addiction. Yeah, I'm sure we all do. I have a badly deviated septum, went to a nose doctor, had a septoplasty. Doc comes out after surgery and says to my wife, how much coke did this guy do? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I probably should go someday and get it done, but I was in the same boat at one point when I was in that psych ward. They took my blood and all that, and they gave me the results, and I still have them somewhere. They're probably in my storage. And yes, I still have a storage. I'm so fucking lazy. I should have emptied that forever. I pay every month for storage. I have a whole house to put my shit in. But anyway, I've had that storage since last time I went to jail. Terrible. That was 7 years ago. 6 years ago. He handed me my paperwork and stuff and said, with this amount of cocaine in your system, with your cocaine levels this high, there is no reason you should still be walking the earth right now. It's a miracle. It's exactly what he told me. Oh, is that right, Jason? Yeah, I heard they're not, they're not always successful at all. Oh shit, Joe Bag of Donuts. That's all right. You can go back and listen. Artie Lang has no nose left. Poor bastard. No, and I think his thing was more from snorting heroin, but nah, his nose is gone. And he don't give a shit either. You know what I mean? I know Artie don't have money like that anymore, but I'm sure he can get that fixed. They could do some sort of reconstructive surgery. But he don't give a fuck. The wiring is still repairing itself in our brains. Yeah, that's what the whole John Gotti thing. And that's one of the things. I don't look at street guys as someone to be admired anymore, whether they were just drug dealers on the street, whether they were in the hood, whether they were fucking in an Italian neighborhood, whether they were mob guys. It don't matter. I've changed when it comes to that, you know? Yeah, I can really relate to that, FBS. At my worst, it was only family that kept me going, and they were the only ones who helped me turn it around. Well, yeah, you're lucky like I am then, yeah, because if you don't have somebody to help you, sometimes you either can't accomplish it or you're just not willing to. It doesn't seem worth it. With a Xanax, I would come down like a parachute. Yeah, it has that effect. Oh, absolutely, Jason. I listen. That's all we can give you is words of encouragement. Unfortunately, there's not much else we could do. Yeah, Jason, it is, but not. Cold turkey's gonna be damn near impossible on your own. That's why I say, guys, I went to rehab once in 20 something years of addiction, once, and I was done after that. And I'll tell you what did it for me. Just simply getting away. I didn't have any coke. I didn't have any alcohol. I got sobered up. I got detoxed. I started to think in a more positive way. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, I had it easier than most people because I was in paradise. Literally, the fucking rehab was like something that, billionaires go to. Well, millionaires at least. It was luxury. It was the best food, the best of foods, the best of, no, not wines. They had the pool, the gym, the fucking yoga, the massages, So you want to be clean during something like that because you don't want to miss a second of it. But it worked. I think it wasn't just all the luxuries of the place I was at. It was the simple act of getting away and getting clean long enough to decide, I like how this feels and I want to stick with it. Yeah, listen, before I left that hotel, I did as much coke as I could and I drank as much as I could. I was very, very sick, so I couldn't drink much. And I was going through alcohol withdrawal, so I couldn't do much coke because my heart was already fucked up. But I did the last of what I could do before I went, And that's it. Once I got there, they put you on Librium and all that shit. They get you feeling comfortable again. And You take it from there. I spent like 5, 6 days detoxing, and then I was ready to start the groups, and I started attending groups, and that helped as well. Very therapeutic mentally, and then you start to get your physical shit in order too, because I don't know about regular rehabs, but the one I was at, they make you, whether you like it or not, you're going to do physical shit. You're going to do yoga. You're going to meditate. You're going to fucking you're going to do Tai Chi. You're going to fucking, this is all the stuff. They got a gym where they're going to tell you, like they told us, you spend an hour in that gym and be active for that hour. And I would, like I said, when I was a little kid, my godfather taught me how to box. He used to buy me all the equipment, weight sets, speed bags, heavy bags, all that. So they had that in the rehab. So I would put the gloves on. I'd hit the bag for a little while. I'd get on a bike for a little while, speed bag a little bit, lift a little bit of weights. So you start to feel better. And then they feed you very nutritious food. So your body starts to repair all while you're in there. And you come out feeling brand fucking new. And if you're like me, you are not willing to give up that feeling for anything. For anything. I've put many of people in a body bag because of drugs and alcohol. Well, I don't know what you mean by that, Harvester of Sorrow, and I'm not sure I want to know, but I don't know what to say to that. It's a shame, at the very least. I don't know if you mean from selling stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't even know if you want to elaborate. Jason, keep trying to be sober. Hopefully, you don't have to lose everything to stop. I've lost everything in life multiple times to build back up. To lose it again, it's hard. Me too, bro. I was always the comeback kid. I would bounce back from anything. I would start to build shit back up, build my life back up, and eventually I'd lose it all again. I don't plan on doing that this time. After my son was born, I tried real hard to just give it up for good, and I was doing well for a while, but I always have these periodic slips. I need to just give it up forever. It would probably, yeah. I mean, I think that's your only option, bro. Wise Guy TV, what's up, my man? Always good to see you here. Christopher Capello, that used to happen when I smoked weed to come down from a bender to FBS. One time I had the phone in my hand to call 911. Yeah, oh yeah, you get all paranoid and shit. Yep. That's what I tell people. If you see me drinking, I'm not in the right state of mind. Let me get down here a little bit. I tell the kids all the time, or I'm sorry, around here all the time, don't take anything, any pill out there, it will kill your ass. Yeah, it will. Thank you, Iceman's Poison Cheeseburger. Yeah, it is, definitely. Artie packed his beak with crushed glass. Yeah, isn't that what he did? Yeah, he snorted glass. Fucking dummy. He crushed something. He crushed pills up with a salt shaker or something. And Michael Hensley, we love you too. Wise Guy TV. I used to have to check myself into a program literally to take away the option of being able to call my connects because I'd always make it 3 days in cave. Yeah, bro. That's probably the only option you had, right? Because that's what I say about getting away too. Everybody thinks like, I could just not do anymore. Just say I'm done. But no, it's so easy. I'll give you an example, like smoking. If I'm out doing something, like say we go to a concert that's 5 hours long, you can't smoke in the building. I'm fine. As soon as I know I can have a cigarette, I have to. I was in lockdown in jail. I was in lockdown on work release because on work release, at least you could smoke when you go to work. I was in lockdown for 2 fucking weeks. Couldn't go to work. Couldn't go outside. I didn't have a cigarette for 2 fucking weeks. I didn't have to smoke anymore. I was fine. I barely even craved the motherfuckers while I was in there. Soon as I walked out of that building, I ran to where I had my cigarettes stashed. And I did jail time when I went months and months without being able to have a cigarette. You can't smoke in the county. And I came out. Went right back to it. First stop was at the store to get cigarettes. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is with drugs a lot. If if you can get it, and like Wise Guy TV is saying, he had connects, like I'm sure many of us did. It's going to be hard not to. So yeah, checking yourself into a program may be your only choice. Yeah, it'll get you away. It'll get you away. The problem is staying there, because a lot of people don't. They don't stay for long. As soon as they get a craving, or if they're a little too dope sick or going through too much alcohol withdrawal, whatever, they want to bounce. But you can't do that. You just got to fucking dedicate yourself. Oh, look at that. I'm at the bottom. Yeah, bro. Yep. Listen, I'm so thankful and grateful for that fucking day. I know I talk about it a lot, but it's true. It's true. I truly believe if I didn't get into a place that day, who knows how many more years, forget days and weeks and months, years, I would have been still fucked up. I might still be fucked up till this day. So, guys, this is my advice to you. When you have one of those days, say you were on a bender for fucking 3 days or a week or whatever it may have been, and you wake up and you want to die. You're going through a withdrawal. You're sick. You're throwing up. You can't eat. You can't do anything. You can't relax. Your mind is out of fucking control, racing thoughts, all that shit. Please remember my words. Don't go get anything to make that go away. Use that misery to help you fix your problem, and insist that you go away that very day. You'll be sick for a day, sure. But I guarantee you, within 24 hours of you getting to a facility, you're going to feel comfortable. You're going to feel okay. And there's medical staff there. Listen, that's another beautiful part about rehab. Your withdrawal gets too out of control. You start to feel suicidal. You go right to the nurse's office, whatever you got to do. Tell them what you're going through. It's necessary. Nobody wants to do it. They all want to put it off. But every day you put it off is another day lost. Imagine what you could have done with that day. Like, I make it a goal to accomplish as much as possible every day. That's why I'm never at home. I'm always out doing something. You know what I'm saying? I know how much I can accomplish in a day. So when I look back on all the days I wasted, I think, wow, if every one of those days was as productive as my days are now, I'd probably be sitting on a mountain of fucking cash. I'd probably be as established as a person could be. All my relationships would still be good. I'd be on good terms with everybody in my life, all my loved ones, friends, family, whatever. You know what I mean? I'd have perfect credit. I'd have, all kinds of different things. And I'd have my life as together as it should be at my fucking age. And it's true for all of us. It's amazing what you can accomplish with a clear head. But every fucking day that you spend using is one day you'll never get back. It's one more day that you've lost. And who knows what you could have accomplished in that day. You may have met the love of your life that day if you were just sober and clean. You may have won the fucking lottery. You may have gotten a job that led to a much higher position in a company, maybe promotion after promotion, whatever. You may have stumbled across some sort of business opportunity. You never know. Or maybe you had the best day ever spending time with somebody who is no longer here anymore. Think about that. Think about the people who spent so much time in active addiction that they lost, like, say, their mother or their father. And they have to spend the rest of their lives thinking about, what if all those days I was getting wasted and my loved one was sick and dying? I could have been by their side, or I could have taken them somewhere, or we could have taken a couple of extra pictures together, made some new memories. Then you got to live with that forever. So every day, guys, and take it from me, because I don't know what kind of time I have. And lately, I'm very sick lately as far as the heart thing. Okay, it's getting bad. I'm telling you guys that straight up. It's terrifying. It's scaring the shit out of me. I'm not going to lie. Take it from me. Every single fucking day is precious. Every single day is precious. And time is the one thing you can't get back in life. So don't waste any more of it. Don't. That's my advice to you guys. I don't waste time. Me and Shanna argue sometimes because she'll want to hang out at the house, which I understand because she works a lot. She never gets to be home. Whereas I work from home. I'm home too much. You know what I mean? But we might argue about it, and I'll tell her, Shanna, I just can't sit around. That's not the way I want to spend my last days. You know what I mean? Whether these are my last days or not, we never know. You could be perfectly healthy and today could be your last day. So you got to live like that. So why waste the day sitting around the house when you could be out doing something, accomplishing something, moving forward with life? You know? That's the way I see it. I am hyper obsessed with moving forward, with accomplishing things and becoming better than I was the day before. So, that's why when these people say, you never leave your house. Yeah, okay, bro, if you only knew the half of it. I'm never here. You would think I work a 12-hour shift every day. I'm never home. I'm always out. Soon as this video is over, I'm going out, and I'm going to make sure I have all of the fucking Christmas shopping taken care of. All the stuff that Shanna didn't get to or whatever, I'm going to make sure it's taken care of today. Boom, I accomplished something. I'm working on a new diet. I'm going to go to the store and buy some diet food that I feel I need to move along with this. You know what I mean? The other day was awesome. I got to bring someone I love very much, a Michael Kors bag, very expensive Michael Kors handbag filled with cash, a diamond necklace, and some other things. You know what I mean? And I got to see that person smile and get excited and be so happy at this gift. You know what I mean? And I get to do things like that a lot. And that is all due to my sobriety because I wouldn't be in a position to do those things if I was still using. You know? So I'm very grateful. Thank you, Iceman's Poison Cheeseburger. I appreciate that. That is the only regret I have is that I didn't straighten out my life years earlier, would have saved my marriage. Well, yeah, but you know what? What's done is done. Dwelling on it, and trust me, I'm somebody who still dwells on the past a lot, but I know, deep down inside that dwelling on it won't help. But if you move forward, you never know. You could wind up in a new marriage, a better marriage, something better than you ever imagined you could have. This is what separates FBS from the competition, these shows here. Thank you, Michael Hensley. Well, yeah, this is, guys, believe it or not, this is the real me. You know what I mean? This is the guy. If I could, I would dedicate my life to just helping fucking people, or at least sharing my story in a way that might help people. You know what I mean? If I could figure out different ways to speak in groups or at rehab facilities or whatever, you know what I mean? I would do it as much as I could. And it's not because I'm a saint, it's because, first of all, I've always been a helpful person. You could ask my wife. Anything I do is about the people I'm with. It's not about me. If I take Shanna to Florida, that entire trip is about Shanna. She doesn't want it that way, but I do. You know what I mean? That's the way I am. I was always that way with my daughter. I'm that way with my stepkids. I'm that way with my mother. You know what I mean? And when it comes to this addiction and recovery stuff, I know that I have a story and I know I have a little bit of knowledge and I might be able to help people. So that's why, like I said, guys, if I shut this whole YouTube thing down tomorrow, I would still do this no matter what. These addiction and recovery shows are what's important. And to be quite honest, they're the most important thing that goes on in this community. The most important thing. And I refuse to stop being open with you guys just because some fucking trolls might use it against me. I'm going to tell you my stories. I'm going to tell you the things I've been through. And if they want to use it to pick at me or make fun of me, let them do it. You know what I mean? But if I'm not honest with you guys and I don't tell you shit about myself and my own addiction, what good am I doing any fucking one? You know, that's the whole point of meetings. And that's why, for instance, Alcohol Anonymous is anonymous. Or Alcoholics Anonymous, I'm sorry. Because people want to be able to go in there and share. Well, in our situation, we're on a public platform. But to some extent, we still have to be willing to open up and share our fucking stories. Otherwise, how can we accomplish anything on here? Oh yeah, Jason, you got to get out, man. That's what I do, bro. I'll get out. I'll go to the city and just walk around. I'll take a trip to Philly. Why do you think we're always on vacation and shit? Because I am so like, I insist on making the most of our time. It probably drives Shanna crazy, but when I was working at a factory, you could ask Shanna. I would come home on a Friday. Me and Shanna would get home the same time, about 4:00. And I would say, Braden, come here. Shanna, Braden, pack. We're going to Ocean City. They'd both look at me like I was insane. But then we would go. We'd take a trip to Ocean City. It could be fucking the middle of January. It didn't matter. We'd hang out in this beautiful hotel suite overlooking the ocean. We'd order all kinds of good food. We'd go to Assateague Island, look at the fucking ponies. We would have an amazing weekend. And then afterwards, they would say, wow, that was a great idea, Chris. So, yeah, I'm a little forceful when it comes to getting out and doing things. I am. Because I refuse to live my life any other way. So cabin fever, that kills me. And a lot of it, listen, the way I lived my life as a drug dealer, you're never home. You're always out, unless you're a knucklehead who sells all your drugs from your fucking house. You know, I was always out. I was on runs from morning till night, making runs, re-ing up, making runs, you know? So that's the way I've always been. And let me tell you, my parents were that way. When I was little, we were never home on a weekend. Never. We were always on a trip somewhere doing something. That's how I am now. That's how I was when my daughter was little. That we were never home on a weekend. Never. And anytime we had the means to do so, we were on vacation somewhere. You know? That's the way I always want to live my life. Because who knows how much of it we have left. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. I try to be, bro. I try to be because I spent a lot of my life as a very bad man, you know? So I'm doing the best I can. Doing the best I can. You know, the best thing Jimmy Calandra ever said is he tries every day to make his crooked past right. Anybody with a crooked past should be doing just that. And I think a lot of us in here have that, you know? We've gone through some shit. We've done things we're not proud of. We've hurt people, you know? Can't ever take those things back, but you can make sure they don't happen again. Oh, Walt Liquor, I agree, bro. I absolutely love it. I love it. Especially a place like Wildwood, because everything is shut down. You know what I mean? After the psych ward that time, when I went to Wildwood all by myself, I got an oceanfront suite in Montego Bay. Every day I would go out and I would walk the boardwalk. And that boardwalk, as you guys know, what is it, 2-point-something miles, I think, some shit like that. And I would walk in the freezing fucking cold. I'd stare at the water. I would picture, wow, like how crazy is this? Just a few months ago, there was 1 million people here. You know, now it's dead like a ghost town. And I loved it. I loved it. That's why, you know, NB made a comment once. He goes to the beach in the winter. So we also go in the summer. What do you mean? The ocean is still there in the winter, you know. You might not be able to get in it, but you could certainly look at it. And let me tell you, that is my serenity. The ocean, guys, is my serenity. I could stare at that water all fucking day. So I don't give a fuck what time of year it is. Plus, listen, if you're good at researching and finding things out, you know, you can go anywhere and find shit to do. Anywhere. You know, whether it's freezing cold or 100 degrees out. FBS, looking behind yourself while sitting in a room in your house. You paranoid? See, somebody's got to come in and start trouble. No, dickhead, I have a window right there. And sometimes I hear a car outside. I look to see who it is. Yeah, I'm paranoid. Jerk off. There's always got to, even in a positive show like this, there's got to be somebody who says something negative or tries to start shit. Otis Driftwood, what's up, Chris? I got to get on it one day, tell you my fucking story. I would love for that to happen, Otis. That would be great, man. Anytime you're ready. So this is what I'll do right now. I'm going to drop the link. And if anybody wants to come on, that's cool. If not, I understand. But if not, I'll probably end the show in a few minutes and go do what I got to do. Oh, yeah, of course, Jesse Roth. Yeah, oh my God. In the dead of winter, in Ocean City, for example, Wildwood's different. Wildwood, you can't even find food in the fucking winter. You got to go to Wawa or you got to go to Cape May and eat at the Lobster Shack or something. But in Ocean City, Maryland, which I'm not a big fan of in the summer, I have no desire to be there in the summer. A lot of drunk assholes, a lot of rowdy kids. I don't like it. Wildwood is my place in the summer if I'm going to go someplace fairly local. But Ocean City in the middle of winter, the fucking pizza joints, stuff like that, they're open till 4 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, there's shit to do. There's stores to go to during the days. There's fucking, you know what I mean? Assateague Island is right there. Chincoteague isn't far. You know, there's a lot of shit to do. Even in the winter, we have a ball. All right, nobody's joining, which is cool. I understand totally. But I think I am going to shut it down for now because I do have things to do. Let me just read this first. Jane Creek, I needed some positivity right now. I've been renting a room to one of my mother's friends, and I am this close to kicking the living shit out of her. Oh, I can only imagine, Jane. I can only imagine. I would lose my shit. I would lose my shit. That's got to be tough. Well, listen, try to keep your head up and think positive. It's not forever. All right, guys, listen, thank you for everything. Okay, thank you for joining me and being here and sharing with me and all that shit. It means a lot to me. And don't forget these numbers at the bottom. National Addiction Hotline, write that down. Keep it in your pocket, purse, man bag. If you're a kangaroo, put it in your pouch, whatever. Put it in your wallet, whatever you need to do. There's the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, 988, easy to remember. Remember those numbers, guys, and keep them close by in case you ever need them. All right, guys, and stay strong and stay positive and do your best to stay on the road to recovery. That's all you can do. Try to make yourself a better person than you were yesterday. All right, guys, I love you all. And until next time, salute.